I'm not sure where it's going.
Not sure?
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's going now. Ah, it's on my stream. Oh, weird. So weird. Facebook's so weird. Ah, right, anyway.
It goes live.
Hmm?
It went on live.
Yep. So we have the September 17th, 2017. So Sunday, 8:13 p.m. And first of all, let me know how to properly pronounce your name.
It's Yatthra. Why?
Yatthra, with an emphasis on the A.
Yatthra.
All right, Yatthra. That should be fairly easy. And second of all, what brings you to Latvia?
Latvia. Actually, I came for a business purpose to the island, and then I thought of since I am in Europe and I have never been in a Baltic country, and I searched where I should go, and I thought the Latvia will be the best place to go, and my choice is correct.
So you bring many opinions probably to Latvia.
Opinions.
What are your impressions of Latvia?
The Camp
Or Riga?
Riga.
Yeah.
Riga, I'm here only for 2 days here now, and I met a lot of people and visit a lot of places. It's really fantastic. It's really good. I learn a lot, your history. So it's a good thing for me.
Have you met any people who are anywhere near your either place of origin or place of residence? Because you are sort of an interesting character, simply because Sri Lanka is pretty far to the east, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you are pretty far to the west.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
have you met anybody in Latvia who would well, sort of be in a similar situation like you, either in the east or the west? Because we probably have some Americans, but not that much. And I'm not
Yes.
sure whether or not any Sri Lankan is now in Latvia.
I met one Indian who studied in the Riga Tech, and I get a chance to talk with him, and I met three of I think they came for as visiting here
Yeah.
from the United States, and a lot of all other tourists I met mostly from the European countries. I met Chinese people too, and Japanese also when I travel in Latvia, Riga. It's everywhere. Everyone is coming here.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Would you after these 2 days would you actually consider coming back to Latvia?
Yes.
And on a particular, let's say, if you had the choice, would you come back at this same time in September, or would you rather choose, let's say, August, July, some sunny months?
I prefer to come on summertime to enjoy the different situation, and I know that you have wonderful beaches too. It's very nice, and this is not a bad time anyway.
Where did you find out about the beaches?
I went through some of the reports, and I cannot remember the place name. Some of them are recommend me to go over there and visit too, but I didn't go. I cannot remember that place actually. It's very close to this Riga. Anyway.
I mean, Jurmala.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have any particular interests when you come to any country? Do you have a particular set of rules that you want to have, see,
Yes.
do?
Yes. Especially when I go, not only myself, I think everyone. Why they
Not
go?
Not everyone.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay. Myself. Right. Right. Myself. when I visit a country, before I visit that, I first go through the country profile.
On the internet?
Yes.
Where do you go for that?
I go to the country profile because especially I go through we go for the information. I need the information whether it is safe to travel.
But what do you mean as a country profile? Where do you see a country profile? Is there a particular site for that?
If you just type a Google at the country,
Oh, so you Google.
yeah, it's
Alright.
you can get all the information.
Because someone told me that they used TripAdvisor, and I thought
yeah,
nobody
it's
uses it.
TripAdvisor is good, and we have a US website.
Really?
Yes, US website. Before you go, you can go through the.
Like an official website, just
It's
specifically for that.
published by the Department of State.
I see.
Yes, so
I
that,
guess we have the same for our what's it called. You mean the one the department who's responsible for foreign affairs, right?
I think
So yeah, we have the Ministry for Foreign Affairs.
right, something like that.
And they publish.
There's a place to go through those documents.
Mm-hmm.
So it's clearly says Latvia is safe to travel. So
Oh wait, so you were really concerned whether or not is Latvia safe?
yeah, there are countries like
Come on,
because
man. We're the European Union, man. What you doing?
But anyway, that you are in the Union, that is one thing. European Union, I know that, but there are countries you cannot visit. That I wanted to go to the Venezuela.
Do some name dropping right now. Which are the ones?
Venezuela. I love to go to Venezuela, right?
Why wouldn't you be able to go there?
But it's not a good idea at this time.
I don't know.
It's unrest. People, it's not a good idea. So
I think Venezuela legalized weed. There's probably no unrest there, just chilling and singing Bob Marley songs.
I
think
don't
they're
know.
aren't that the first country who actually legalized it? I think so.
I don't think. I think it's a Colombia, I believe.
Maybe there's somewhere else.
Yeah, Venezuela. I don't think that the weed is legalized.
Yeah, might be. But some of those South
Yes,
American
South
countries
African country. Yes.
did it, but who?
Yeah.
Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say anything about? No, nothing. All right, so some other countries. Then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we need to find them, and you're good to go to that one.
Yeah. Because the Venezuela is not because of that. There are problems inside the country that it is not. I don't think that tourists will go over there.
Isn't that true for almost all South American countries?
No.
Come on, they're not the safest.
Yes, but there are some safe countries: Chile, Peru, Argentina.
All right,
Right.
and that's about it, right?
Yeah, Brazil. There are some robbers.
Yeah, it gets shady. Things get shady.
Even the Mexico, but compared to the European, here is the best. European Union countries is the best. It's safe, and good thing is that you have everything. I mean that if you go, you have signs. It's mentioned in English. Most of the people speak English.
Well, it really depends.
Yes.
It really depends.
So that's good. That's good. That it's convenience for everyone. The communication is more important. So it's help us.
Do you have any, let's say, particular viewpoint when you think of America and you think of European countries? Because I would like to always think that America is just it used to be almost nothing, and then they got the capitalism on full throttle and just made big cities, big everything, and now it's sort of it lost its charm, because I think many Americans like European style, small, compact, either architecture or designs, whatever. So I'm not sure whether or not who's the best, who wants to be whom, right? Whether the Europeans look to the Americans or the Americans look to the Europeans nowadays.
For me, actually, that America is the best. Not because I'm living over there, that the lifestyle and it's very easy. and you have lot of opportunities if you work, if you know how to get those opportunities, use those opportunities. You have a lot of things to do. So that I like it. I don't think that you can find those type of opportunities for any other country. That
Might
the
be the case.
system is created that.
Might be the case, yeah.
Yeah. So I like that the way they doing.
So let me just paraphrase that or phrase it another way. What would you say you would like to improve, whether in Europe or America? Not to say you don't like something in America, but what would you, if you had the chance, what would you improve in America? Either socially, infrastructurally, whatever.
I need to improve the lifestyle of the people.
You mean of the common people?
People.
Because you probably are feeling pretty comfortable, right?
Yeah.
Over there.
Yeah.
So you're just thinking about your fellow citizens then?
Oh, yes, of
Look
course.
at you, you're humanitarian, you.
Yes, of course.
Well, what would you think would help the ones who need help?
The help means that you mean that we had recently, before I came here, about a week before, there was a hurricane in Texas. Then immediately after, there was another hurricane in the Orlando, the Florida. So there are a lot of damages and victims are there. So that.
Can you tell me how that works? Because as far as I understand, they already know, I don't know, at least a week in advance that there will be a hurricane. So all those victims, you might as well say, well, why would you just stay there? Why wouldn't you just go away for the time being?
Yes, although you cannot actually, you can say that you have to take every precautions, but sometimes you know that it's beyond the controlling areas when you spread to the other areas, that especially for this flood. The flood it's never happened in the US history. So that
What has not happened in US history?
That type of flood. It's because it's just raining about 5-6 days.
Yeah.
And the same time the heavy windy.
Yeah.
And it's damage. Some of the houses they're flooded up to their roof level. Most of about 1 million cars is damaged. 260 billion estimated damage the hurricane cost to US for that damage. So that it's a financially and economically, but
probably insurance premiums go up 1 week before.
Yeah.
Well, so sort of like.
Yeah.
No.
It may be. Yeah. It happens. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So what would you have done if you would be in that position? Let's say you are in Orlando or Houston and you hear the news. What would you do?
Yeah, of course that I was there. Before I come, I was in Houston at that time.
So you did this.
So I was at the Houston, means that I just helped with my other colleague for this. I went there personally and we did some kind of a social service.
Oh, you mean you were there when the hurricane had already been there?
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
All right.
So I saw that what has happened over there.
Yeah, but what I meant was, if you had lived in Houston before the hurricane came, and you would hear on the news, oh, a big hurricane will come, what would you have done?
Yeah, because the Houston, the Texas is a huge, is the second largest state, and it's a huge.
Which is the biggest?
Because I think is Alaska.
Oh, but Alaska probably doesn't count, really, right?
Right. Then it should be the.
It's just some moose and sour palin.
I think yeah. I think it's Texas. So that because it's the hurricane first hit to the Corpus Christi or one of the coastal area. It's it's unbelievable. It's about 280 miles per hour the speed with the huge.
Yeah, tremendous.
Yeah, tremendous.
It's a tremendous catastrophe.
Yeah.
It's just that you already know beforehand. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that is what those areas, the immediately target hitting those. I mean, the area like Corpus Christi. So those areas, no one was there actually at that time. Everyone has gone. But the problem was that the other areas, they never expected that this was not because of the hurricane, the windy. Due to that, after that, it's continuous raining for 5-6 days. It's a heavy rain. So that is what happened actually, because of the heavy flooding. So those things never accepted.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess you'll live and learn.
Yeah, because of that, even if you go out, even if you are not at home, right? So those damages, flooded, some are flooded up to their roof level. All the cars, over 1 million cars.
Houston is probably most of the time pretty dry, right?
Yes.
Because at first, when I heard, I would not be really inclined to believe that Houston would have a problem anyway, but related to too much water. That's so hard to believe.
Yeah,
because Texas is, I think, most just pretty dry, isn't it?
Pretty dry, yes. It's hot. It's not that cold like here. Summer is very bad over there.
Well, you have probably lots of air conditioning all over the place.
Yes, of course, yes.
Is the beach in a way accessible? Or the ocean?
Even the Corpus Christi is a wonderful beach area. Yeah, it's very, very nice. Actually, 2 weeks before the hurricane I was in the Corpus Christi with my family. We had a good time, and even that time no one announced that there was a hurricane. But after 1 week, they have announced that there will be a hurricane on these days.
So wait a second. You were almost shortly before the hurricane hit there, right?
Yes, it's about 2 weeks before.
Oh.
Yes.
And so at that point, did you hear any news about...
No.
Oh.
No.
So it's not that...
Not that. It was very calm. Beach was very calm. It's really nice that we had a good time. And I came back to the Houston. And I was there for another... Because I had to be there for 10 days. And the next week, this one happened. And I had to go back to the New York, and the airport was closed, no flights, so I had to wait another extra 3-4 days.
So tell me, how do you divide your time? You said you are in Texas and New York, right?
Yes.
So what's the deal with that?
I started
and what fan are you? What kind of fan for which teams do you root?
The Texas, why I'm in Texas, at this moment we are having a kind of a promotion. Promotion, and because America is a big country, so that if you start something in New York, it is very difficult to go to another state, especially the company like mine, because it's not a multinational, or that it's not a large company. It's a
technically it is multinational, isn't it? You have sourcing in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
And you have distribution in America.
New York.
You're global, my friend. You're global.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. So that what happened is that we have started, and it's continuing doing in New York. So that I thought of then second state we should target the California. Then I had another friend, he asked me, let's do it in Texas. So that is why that we started in Texas. We just started, it's about 3 months before, right? So that I had to come so I came there last week, August, end of August I went there, and so we can do pretty good over there, Texas.
simply because people need fluids.
Yes, and Texas, especially Houston, is kind of a multicultural.
What?
Yes,
Texas?
yes, a lot of Indians, Pakistanis, Africans.
Because of the weather?
Not because of the weather. I believe because of the opportunity over there. Because Texas is an industrial state.
I thought they only have either oil-based or cattle-based
They
businesses.
have a lot of industries.
Really?
Yes, a lot of
Texas.
industries. Yes, so because of that, not only that, it's some kind of multinational companies like Intel, Dell, all in Texas.
Really?
Texas Instrument, the big companies. So because of that, the economy is very good in Texas.
I don't know why, but the word Alta Vista comes to mind. Does it mean anything in Texas? Alta Vista?
Alta Vista, what is that?
I don't know. It was just came to my mind when you said IBM. I somehow thought Alta Vista, but yeah, I'm not sure. What is the place called where IBM is located? Do you know?
Most of these tech companies, tech giants in Austin, Austin, Texas.
Probably don't know anything about Austin, Texas. I've heard of it, but what's interesting in Austin, Texas?
Yeah, Austin is the capital of the Texas state, and what I heard is Austin and the Houston, these two gentlemen who were found the Texas. Yes, and Austin, and his name is as a capital of the Texas, and Austin. What I can see is that there are a lot of professionals over there.
What?
Professional carriers. Professionals.
Probably.
Jobs, because the companies like Intel, Dell, the huge companies over there, so that those people who work for those companies, and there are a lot of professionals living over there.
So next to California, it would be probably the second one. Then.
California, yes, I believe, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so you're one of the possible markets for you was California as well, right?
Yes, it is. I'm not in a position to promote everything everywhere at a time. So that I go one by one. I started in New York and then I go to the Texas. So that I may need about a 6-7 month, maybe 1 year, 2 years. It's depend with how I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to the next state.
What was your approach in New York? How did it go in New York? Let's say, starting the point you really established your position there, and then how did you move forward in New York? And then afterwards, at what point did you know, all right, I can move forward to, let's say, Houston or whatever?
Yes, even to start in New York, it is not that easy. So I had a very tough time, and also that we are promoting tea. It's a regular tea, so that I fail several times. I mean that I try to promote this. It's failed several times because it is the most competitive market in the world.
New York specifically?
USA, specifically New York, right?
All right.
So that there are a lot of tea companies and supermarkets. Those companies, they don't have enough space for their shelves for the new products.
Mm-hmm.
They already have 10-15 tea brands, and another brands cannot afford for them, and there should be a special reason for that to get them. So that I had to go through those things, and we have to develop another products.
Mm-hmm.
Special products is under all natural. I mean, it's not a artificial flavored. It's nothing. It's all natural flavored.
Most tea sold probably has artificial flavors, right?
Some of them.
Well, I mean,
Some
commercially,
ginger, some not from our products, right? Some tea you can find it, lemon tea, ginger tea. Those things are some of them are artificial.
but the most sold are probably flavored, right?
Yes.
Because I think I just I don't draw any statistics, but I seem to notice that I put different teas for the guests, right?
Mm.
And the fastest is the one who has the flavors for the berries and just artificial flavors. The flavored teas goes the fastest. Yeah.
So
Because
people doesn't.
Because it's a regular black tea. It's just flavored with something that's fruity or anything.
That is how the market goes. But now is good thing is that the people drink a lot of iced tea.
Why is it good?
Good means that it's good for the tea manufacturers.
But doesn't mean that it has problems with shelf life? Because usually tea you prepare it fresh, right? Whereas iced tea you have already packaged and sitting on the shelf. Doesn't it cause problems?
Now that some people I know, they made the iced tea and put in a gallon in their refrigerator. They don't have to.
Oh, so it's homemade.
Homemade. They can do homemade. There are bottled tea also.
But that's dedication then.
Yeah, there are bottled tea also. Even myself, that at my home, I have a full gallon of iced tea every time.
Well,
yeah. It's a 2 gallon.
Do you drink only iced tea or also just regular?
It is very easy. You don't have to make every time. It's like when you drink a cup of water.
Yeah.
Right. So that I have always I have in my refrigerator. It's true Ceylon cinnamon.
Yeah.
And the tea, black tea. That is cinnamon tea. We call it cinnamon tea, and the ginger. So the Garcinia tea. So something like that. I always keep 2 products.
What's your motivation in drinking a regularly tea?
Regularly tea. Whenever I feel thirsty, I just.
Well, you have lots of drink options, right? You can have beer, you can have milk, you can have coffee, you can have lots of different things. What's the motivation behind drinking lots of tea and maybe the rest just on occasion?
I drink not only the tea. Actually, I'm a coffee drinker too. I drink everything. Yeah.
But you don't sell any.
No. No, because tea and coffee is not the same. It's too different. Two different tastes, and you feel two ways of you don't feel the same way when you have a coffee and tea. Is two feelings.
Isn't it dependent on the way you consume it? Because you can probably consume tea and coffee in different ways.
Yes, and also that the time you take. Time means that if you take a morning, you feel different. Now evening is different. So likewise, the iced tea is most probably during your daytime is very good. It's not hot tea always better for morning and evening. Then during daytime sometimes very hot.
Not in New York probably, right?
Even New York, the summer times.
How long is the summer in New York? Probably 2 months, right?
2 to 3 months, yes. Yeah. But even the winter time, people drink iced tea, iced coffee, both. Even the ice cream. It's not a winter or summer. The
biggest seller of coffee is probably Starbucks, right?
Maybe Dunkin' Donut, maybe Starbucks. I don't have the figures on that. But both of them are very popular. Starbucks is number 1.
Yeah. And it's so expensive as far as I understand, even compared to American standards.
I don't think, and because that if you go to New York City, and you can say people are waiting to get their cup of tea or coffee. The Starbucks says they sell now tea too.
But not
Dunkin' Donuts.
Do you get your tea into Starbucks?
Not my tea.
That would be nice.
They're not my tea, but they have tea. That means
we need to make it happen.
Yeah, let's try.
Yeah. Do we need to, get out of the way?
there are people who's working for us, kind of promotion managers and the agents, distributors.
Yep.
So they someday, one day, they will come up with those prospective business.
With those big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Do you have also a strategy in a way that, all right, now we have a timeline for this, now we have a timeline for this, or you just make those incremental steps, but the timeline is relative?
Normally, we are doing two ways of our business. One is supply tea
Yeah.
to the manufacturers.
You mean the manufacturers who put it in the bags?
Yes, it goes as it's called a private label.
Well, but isn't most of the time private label just put in the logo, but you already did all the rest?
Yes, we do that one too, and
Ah,
also that
right.
the big companies, they need tea. They blend their own. They have their own blends. They need tea.
So you
That
provide
we provide the
Just
it's
the
a
raw
bulk
material.
tea. It's a large scale.
Yeah.
We provide the bulk tea,
All right.
and they blend them and they sell under their label. And also that the iced tea manufacturers, they need tea, so we supply for them too. And also that our own label, that is Tea Star, we promote that one too.
So what's the most important aspect of those you mentioned, of those things? You mean the either the Tea Star, what was the rest?
The bulk tea
the
supply.
supply of the raw materials to making the blends, and then the third, just the private label,
It's
right?
actually, you cannot say raw material. It's a tea. We just sell tea. It's a tea. What they do is
You can sell tea just as lots of
it's 50 kilo bags.
yeah, or you can sell tea already packaged in those
Yes,
small
we
ones,
have
right?
we have only packs, and we have a facility to produce 5 million tea bags per day.
Is that a lot?
Yes,
Oh.
yes, 5 million tea bags, but we produce only 3 million tea bags, but we have a facility to produce 5 million. And our products are our factories. It's a good manufacturing practice, GMP certified.
You mean GMO free?
Yeah, not yes, non-GMO. That's something, and also that ISO 20.
Well, the standard. All right.
Standard. So we maintain everything. So the quality is good, and especially when you need to import anything under food and beverage category, it is not that easy to United States. You have to go through all the FDA. You need to get the FDA registration, Food and Drugs Administration, and you have to sometimes give them samples, and then only you can do that. And even if you store, it has to be a very good environment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you store in a bag, cement or any other things. These are food and beverage. So those things we need, we maintain those things, and quality and the price too.
Do you compete specifically with the price or something else?
You need to. It's all competitive.
Well, I mean, do you have a competitive edge besides the price?
Yes, because we have that advantage. We are manufacturers. We pack our own products, and we import and we sell. That we have only from one house. So we have that advantage.
You are also the growers?
We have some we have some plantations too, but in Sri Lanka you cannot sell your products. It has to go through the auction. All tea plantations manufacturers,
It's
they have to sell they have to put their products.
Why is
to
that?
That's good actually, because it's tea. I I think it's about 80%. 80% of their producing tea is exports. So you cannot sell it in Sri Lanka because it's a large quantity, volume. So that out of 80 that you have to, it has to go through this auction.
Yeah.
Then the auction at that time will sell sometimes. Sometimes you get a good price. Sometimes it's per kilo. So that when you get a good price, sometimes we have to buy our own tea too.
What do you mean? You need to buy your own tea, but you already own the tea.
Yes, our plant, whatever we manufacture, it goes to the auction.
All right.
Once it go to the auction,
Do you mean that everything you produce needs to go to the auction? It's not like you could retain something.
You can retain a small margin. I mean that for your personal things. Other than that, for the, not for the commercial things.
What? I don't get it. Why would you not be able to, let's say, produce something and then just do whatever you want with it?
Yeah.
If you want to participate in the auction, go. But if not, you just do whatever you want. Or is it like that, or is it not?
It has to be. That's the regulation.
Is that really in your interests? Because you could have a system where you could actually have just the auction as an option. Let's say, oh, look, we have auctions. You can participate if you want, but if not, well, do whatever you want.
Yeah, because this is controlled by the government body called the National Tea Board.
It sounds so exploitative.
I think
if it's a mandatory auction, it sounds really exploitative.
I think this is.
Since when do you have those?
We feel it is a good thing because
really?
Otherwise, you know what happens that some manufacturers they make and do produce their quality, but this one, it has to be maintain a good quality because it has to go to the auction.
All right.
Right. If it is a bad quality, you cannot sell it.
But doesn't the auction actually increase the price? Sometimes
auction means yes, there will be a price that you will say that
in a way that it is not. You lose some competitive edge if you go to the auction, whereas you could just sell it directly to somebody who would be able to buy, and then you don't need to go through the process of auctioning.
You can't do that
because it's mandatory. The auction,
mandatory.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, that's strange. It seems to me strange.
It's the way that it's at the tea plantation those days, maybe 100 years before started.
I mean, that was almost when still slavery was existent, wasn't it?
No, that's good because that is one that helped, the system helped to maintain the quality in Ceylon tea because it goes as
who are the biggest competitors in that auction, or who are the biggest producers?
There are biggest plantations like.
Are those locals? Local companies?
Local companies. There are small scale guys and also the big plantation companies like Finlay.
Finlay is an international company.
International. Right? They have plantation.
Where's their headquarters? England?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. And they have plantation in Kenya, South Africa, Sri Lanka, India.
It sounds so imperial to me. Mm-hmm. Imperialistic.
Yeah, tea is the third consuming beverage in the world after water, and I think water. I don't have much figures on that, but what I got to know is that tea is the third drinking beverage in the world, third largest.
Is tea being subsidized anywhere?
I don't think.
So are you telling me that you, as a producer of tea in Sri Lanka, you produce it, but you always know that you will go through the auctioning process to sell it?
Mm-hmm.
So and you say that it is good for you, in a sense.
It's good for everyone, I believe.
All right. So you're saying that the process of actually having a common place of brokerage is very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but how is the competitiveness then aligned? Meaning, are you able to outcompete the biggest producers in Sri Lanka in some way? Would you be able to? What's the scenario where you would be actually the biggest producer of tea in Sri Lanka? Break it down to
this
me.
system help for the small plantation owners too, and also the small scale exporters. This will help.
But what if the mandatory process would be just for minimum rates? What if you wouldn't have any auctions, but you would have just minimum buying rates? Wouldn't it be the same?
It's a time to time it's changed. Time to time it's changed.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
what I mean.
a.
You
it's
can
not-
have rates.
Yes, it's not a
If you only-
regular rate. It's time to time.
Yeah.
Day to day, it's changed.
All right. So you're saying that it's good, but then again, how could you become the biggest tea producer in Sri Lanka in the next 2 years?
Biggest producer.
Yeah, biggest producer.
Biggest producer means the plantation wise.
Yeah, that you are the biggest seller in the auction. That you provide the biggest volume in the auctions.
Tea manufacturing is a different thing. That is plantation.
Well, but the auctioning is still
yes.
tea.
Plantation. We don't have much plantations. We
Mm-hmm.
have only little. It's about 250 acres, but that is not enough. But manufacturing is different.
All right.
Manufacturing is different.
So manufacturing is where it's at.
Yeah, manufacture. We buy those leaves from those plantations.
So where are the most plantations you get your what are your sources then? Outside of Sri Lanka?
No, only Sri Lanka.
So as I understood that actually there are too many, there's too much volume to be produced in only Sri Lanka.
Yes, because that India, I think India and Kenya is the largest producers, but even China is maybe the largest producer. But from their production, 80% of their production will consume within the country.
Who?
In China, because there are billions and millions people over there.
Yeah.
It's a tea nation, tea drinking country. And the India also they produce a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And also 80% of their production they consume within the country. And in Sri Lanka is a small country, less people, and the production volume is very high because you cannot consume everything 100% within the country. So that we have to export.
Do you actually need to go to Sri Lanka often?
Yes, 2 times a year, like.
And is it for a couple of weeks or longer?
Yes, mostly, yeah. Sometimes it's 1 month, sometimes couple of weeks. 2
And
weeks.
is it just to maintain, or what are the purposes of those trips?
No, it's there are so many reasons to go to Sri Lanka. Not only for this, because that I have my relatives, the friends, and everyone is there. My mom living there, so that I visit her. So many reasons, and go and meet our partners. Not only
Wouldn't you be more interested in actually getting them all to America? Why did your mama stay in Sri Lanka?
Yes, she is now 82 years old, and she doesn't like to fly.
Yeah, you can take a cruise ship. Problem solved.
I love to, but she doesn't want to.
Really?
Yeah, I even myself that recently I proposed let's go to India for a pilgrimage tour, because we are Buddhist, and India you have a pilgrimage tour. Even for that, she said no, I can't.
Well, yeah. I mean that
So
sounds.
when she doesn't feel good, so you can't.
Yeah. A pilgrimage that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah,
That sounds like work.
yeah.
But going on a cruise ship to America, not so much.
Yeah, but the 24 hours, flying hours, how can you do that? Even
Flying?
myself, yes.
Well,
even
but you don't need
myself.
to fly. You can.
We don't
take-
have direct flight from US to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, but don't you have any cruise ships in Sri Lanka? You must have. You have some ports in Sri Lanka, probably.
Yeah, but I don't know, not to my knowledge, no cruise ship.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So much tea, so little cruise ships.
Mhm.
Something's wrong. Something's real wrong here.
I wish we had, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's probably a good region to travel around. It's probably
Yeah, that,
is it a subtropical climate, or what's the
It's a climate, of
Geology
course,
then.
geography. It's like surrounded by the sea. It's an island, small island, and the middle of the country there are a lot of mountains,
Mhm.
and you get a different weather condition compared to the coastal area.
Yeah.
And it is a country you will have everything. Mountains, the beaches, rivers, jungles,
It's quite common for all those countries in that
Yeah.
region, right?
and also not only that, the ancient ruins. I mean, some of them are about 1500 years before those ruins.
Hmm.
Yes, it's old.
And nobody really knows what that is, right?
Yeah, they have found all the information. It's some of them are before 1000 years before, 1200 years before. Those things are built, and all those ruins are there that people visit. There, a lot of tourists are there from, especially in European tourists.
It's probably a world tour then. If you go to Sri Lanka, it's probably just a stop in a bigger trip, isn't it? Probably.
I have gone everywhere in Sri Lanka. I mean, all interesting places I have already visited, but sometimes I visit again.
Mhm.
Even I go there because there are so many beaches also.
What is your preference for actually traveling abroad? Because in a way, you are accustomed to a weather that most people go when they are going vacationing, whereas you are basically living in those conditions.
I think a lot of tourists like over there because even now that when you have winter here,
You mean here in Latvia?
Europe,
All right.
right? You cannot, if you need to go to a beach, there's no option. You have to go for somewhere else. So that Sri Lanka is best place. That should
Yeah.
be the reason that most people coming over there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you are already there, why would you be interested in traveling around? Because you are there where people travel.
Yeah, I may be.
So
in
what's
a
your
beach.
interest in traveling? That's what I'm saying. What is the thing that somehow interests you to go abroad, and not just for business, but just for sightseeing or whatever?
Yes. So when I have time, I prefer to go to visit a country where I have not been. It's a new thing to me.
How many countries have you been?
50.
Most of them probably in the northern hemisphere.
That means Canada, America, and South America.
Mm.
Some of them, and the Asian countries, including Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia. Is a lot of countries.
Which is the funniest one to you?
Funniest out of 50, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's a good
Funniest.
pool.
Funniest. Actually, I do remember. It is not a funniest, but I still remember my first tour. Tour out of the country when I was 19 years old. After my exam, it's called ordinary. When I was in Sri Lanka. So that my dad asked me, because I wanted to go to some other country. I like to. Because then my request was for my exam result. My gift I asked is to visit somewhere out of the country. So that he arranged with one of my elder relative to go to India. That's my first visit to out of the country. So I still remember that.
India, I remember one Indian telling me that India is not really a consolidated country. It's almost like 30 countries combined, in a way that you can find different things in
India
because simply because it's so big, so different in different regions.
I think they speak more than 100 languages.
It's a crazy place, probably.
Yeah. And also the good thing is that compared to those days 20 years before and now, it's far developed, and the transportation system is not that bad. They have internal flights too, and you're correct, but because there are state systems, right? It's a provincial system in India. Each province, they have a different culture, they speak different language, sometimes they're different religions, so that India is different actually. It's not like Latvia.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
It's completely different. If you take a Germany, it's German.
That's why I think in the 21st century, all those big countries, someday or another, they will just divide because they're too big. I mean, too big to actually get something done. You need smaller governments, smaller regions, smaller sovereignty. And that's why I think at one point in time, even America will divide itself up.
At this moment, I don't think is there any sound like that, but there may be. We cannot predict.
What is your impression, for instance, about the last year or so? Let's say, considering the presidential elections, considering the different political, social aspects of just living in America, you probably can see different things in different states, and all the time it's somehow or another considered one big country. But you go to a different state and it's all totally different vibe.
Yes, in USA, what I saw is that the people can they can talk anything. The people and the news agencies, they can say anything, right? But good thing I like is, even if you broadcast anything, same thing or anything, whatever it is, the people are intelligent.
In America? Come on, son.
Yes.
Come on, son.
Yes. It's unbelievable because you see the presidential election. Even I thought that it goes other way, but it went other way. Every TV channels, every newspaper channels, it said the different results.
Well, that's the so-called mainstream media, isn't it?
So I don't know how it's happened.
Alternative media.
Alternative media.
21st century communication.
Alternative media, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, the
social
internet.
media.
You go for it. And then
yeah.
What's your impression actually of Trump?
I think he's doing good.
In office or in general?
In office.
Because here's the thing. I always thought a president doesn't do very much. I always thought a president in America is just all right. We travel around, we represent the country, we sign maybe some treaties, and that's about it.
I don't think that. What I can see is that when he came to power, the unemployment rate is better than the previous year, and
Do you consider unemployment a problem?
No.
Well,
No. There are a lot of things, but you know that what I can see is that what is said on the election propaganda, what he said is our jobs are going out of the country. So we need to keep their jobs.
isn't it what he said in a sense that the jobs you people don't want to do are going outside? Because in a way, that's true. That would be true.
So
why would it be bad if those jobs could be gone?
No, that the reason is that some of the what I believe is maybe due to bad trade deals sometimes. Bad trade deals means that I know some businesses. The whatever you manufacture from here, it goes to the Mexico. They charge taxes, and from Mexico to here, it's duty free. It's so those are the things. So that even with some other countries, especially this India is more benefited because most of the U.S. companies outsource the call centers.
Which is good, isn't it?
Your call centers are in India, and what happened is billions of jobs.
Well, but isn't it good that everything's so global?
It's there should be a limit also. When it goes to unlimited, it's a problem for the country.
I think you need to think more lazy. You would be more interested in having a system where somebody does the work for you and you still benefit.
Yeah,
see what I mean?
That's
what I mean?
this.
That's,
that there
that's
should
why you
be
need some
yes,
robots.
because
Once you get the robots going, the Indians can keep the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
The robots will do. The computers will do everything.
Yeah.
You're just living. Imagine a world where you would need to work only 2 hours per week or 4 hours per week. Imagine that. Wouldn't it be great?
I don't think that because.
Imagine that in the 19th century, people used to work 12 hours. Right?
Now is 6 hours.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Technological progress means you don't have to do as much to live as good, right? Yeah. But most of the time, it's just you have more free time. All right, let's just give you more work, give you more nonsense to do. There's many times like that.
Yeah, not because of only the call centers. I believe some of the manufacturing plants, and when all these things are when it's going out, then it's a problem.
For now, isn't it? Just for now. In 10 years' time, it's probably a totally different scenario.
I don't think.
Well, how would you like, for instance, if you say people in America being intelligent, or the intelligence of the American people, what would you say if, for instance, everybody would start just educating themselves because they have the time, they have the resources, they still have, compared to the rest of the world, Americans are filthy rich compared to the rest of the world. Even though they might as well feel, they are so poor because they, can only afford one car, and maybe one apartment or whatever. It might be the case. But if there would be a bigger motivation for people to actually get smart, not be let's say human resources for somebody else to just order around, but to actually, like yourself, for instance, you are in a position that you need to think for yourself, right? Nobody gives you orders.
Yes.
Nobody tells you what to do. You need to figure out what to do.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes we work. I work 12 hours, 14 hours too. It doesn't mean that I work only 6 hours.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you are in a position to actually choose, and you choose and you decide and you do, right? But most people are not. Most people are not. So, what would happen if most people would be in that scenario as you are? Wouldn't it be better? Because now people are screaming, "Oh, look, nobody's giving us orders and we don't like it." Well, we need jobs. It means we need somebody as a parent figure telling us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Isn't it that the case?
Yeah. There's a point. But for every country, you have to have kind of your own manufacturing. agricultural sector. You have to have a strong agricultural sector. You have to have a strong industrial sector. You have to have a strong financial sector.
It's on a single market basis for sure. But think about it this way: if the whole world would be one country,
It never happened that
well,
we have to think
it
about.
probably never will.
Yeah.
But considering the fact that we are able to communicate all over the world nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
it might be some up to the point where we can have that type of supply as in one country, meaning one region is better suited to producing this, one region is better suited to growing this, so we source it at those particular regions.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there might be different jurisdictions.
Mm.
Who cares about the jurisdiction if we have the economic relations that we need in order to actually provide what we want and what we need efficiently?
Yeah,
Right.
that is actually happening in the United States at the moment. I mean, it is 50 states, right?
Mm.
Each states has a different. There are agricultural states, there are industrial states.
Oh, you mean the inner market of the USA then?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So-
But then again, you probably need to. Probably America doesn't grow any tea
No.
in considerable amounts, so you need to source that outside of America.
Yeah. For those things which you don't have it, you have to source it from outside. That's
Yeah.
a different thing.
So it's not a problem of our hard-working tea jobs are going outside of America. It's about getting the effective sources.
This is something else.
of-
This is something like this is not the tea plantation. This is steel manufacturers, car manufacturers.
American cars have never been top notch. I mean, Japan, yeah, they can build cars.
Yes.
Americans,
But I like the American cars. I use them.
they are comfortable.
Comfortable.
They are building for big butts. That's for sure.
Now they build a really good, like the car company, like cars like Cadillac, Chevy. It's really good now that it's style models. It's very nice to drive.
Well, to drive, yes, for sure, definitely.
Mhm.
But when it comes to the long-term quality, I'm not sure whether or not they are able to compete with the Germans, the Japanese, the Swedish. Because I think those, if let's say you buy a 10-year-old German, Japanese, Swedish car, you're pretty sure you will be able to go pretty smoothly the next 10 years. I'm not sure whether or not it's the same for American cars.
Yeah, in US market, it doesn't goes like that. Even it is a Mercedes or Cadillac or any car, once it's 5 years old, 10 years old, it's no value.
Well, that would mean that you can just get it cheap. But they are probably on the second market.
It's the
still.
same way. Even if you drive a Mercedes or Cadillac or whatever it is, once you pass the 100,000 miles, then it's done. Done means that you cannot sell it even 10% of the purchase value.
So what happens to those cars?
There's a market for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
what I
a
mean.
market, yeah.
Used cars.
Used cars.
Yeah.
Used cars means that normally used car dealer, they have below 70,000. Most probably, there's a one stage is below 100,000.
All right, but if you want, you can get it otherwise as well.
Normally the one car will last over 200,000. I know there's a taxi, one driver. I saw in a paper that he drove over 500,000 miles.
I mean, for
It's a
those,
Lincoln car.
for those. Well, an engine, yes, an engine is hard to knock nowadays.
It's a Lincoln car, but he cannot sell it once you pass the 100,000.
Mhm.
Now, if I buy a car today for $50,000, if I run within 3 years, if I pass 100,000, I paid for 50,000. I cannot sell it for 10,000 even.
Actually, you can maybe explain to me why hasn't there been a big wave of Americans investing in Eastern Europe?
You mean the car price?
No. I mean generally, because I think if you mention, for instance, that the markets operate a little bit differently in America, why wouldn't you be? Let's say if people are living in and earning their income in America, why wouldn't they be interested in spending it at least partly or investing it partly in Eastern Europe? Because generally, I would believe, for instance, even for the cars, you could actually drive a car in America and then quite nicely ship it to some other country that's still quote unquote wealthy, and that would be European Union.
I don't think that any country will import after 5 years manufacturing date.
I think
There's
we do.
a
I think
barrier.
we do.
No one
Honestly, we
wants that.
think.
Yeah,
I honestly think we do. Maybe in older ones.
all the ones. I don't think any country. I don't think there's a limit. The manufacturing year.
Oh well, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
manufacturing year. So that some countries is 3 years, some countries is 5 years.
Because I'm just wondering whether or not Americans, in general, if you say, for instance, the many people would need jobs, many people would need opportunities, whether or not they actually think in local terms or in global terms. Because I think America has the biggest or one of the biggest income ratios of any country in the world, but also one of the biggest spending ratios in the world. And many times it's just for nonsense. Many times the average household in America probably spends a lot of things on a lot of things that are not really useful to them. It's just
Yes,
the
I know
lifestyle becomes sort of a habit.
That's the lifestyle. It's they buy when they want it and then throw it out when they don't want it. It's a lifestyle.
So yeah, I was always wondering, why don't the Americans just sort of make investment relationships with developing countries that are already fairly developed, which would be Eastern Europe? I don't get that. Because I've never heard of
they have some kind of some
business ties for sure, but not on a massive scale. Not on a massive scale. That's not.
Especially the companies, the manufacturing companies, they only need the cheap labor.
Yeah.
They don't need a technology or that they don't need to brand made in somewhere. That they only need the cheap labor and the not only the cheaper, the trouble free.
Trouble free?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Trouble free means some of the countries it's the strikes, strike ones, the unrest, the workers' unrest. So those are the problems for the manufacturers. So that is why they have.
It's always the case in big countries, isn't it?
Some of the countries.
In civilized countries, big countries. I mean, in uncivilized countries, you still.
Yes, still. Yeah, you can say anyway. You can say, but if I have a manufacturing company, anything bigger company, that I'm also in the same boat. Everyone want a cheap labor to put the price down, right? So that the labor is a problem, cheap and trouble free.
But wouldn't it mean that, for instance, on a commodity market, let's say as in tea, wouldn't it mean that if you would really have so much competition, at one point in time you would be able to actually get tea just free, simply because this price is so low?
No, I don't think. But the competitive means that it will not go beyond the cost.
What I mean is, isn't the tea market sort of like all other markets in that 4 to 6 companies regulate or control more than 80% of the market?
In the Sri Lanka?
Overall, globally.
Yes, I think Lipton, they have a good market share all over the world. Other than the Lipton, some British companies, I cannot remember some of the name. So those are the companies that the giants actually that the people buy for their name.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, just because of the name.
So wouldn't they be also able to influence the price level?
Yes, of course. Of course, they can. They can. Because of I know that because sometimes I have seen some 100 tea bags packs. Normally the selling price is $4.99, $4.50. Sometimes they sell double packs, 200 pack, the 200 bags into 2 packs. They sell it for $3.99. So that the one cost you then is a half of that.
Yeah, half.
Yeah. So likewise the promotions going on, but even for that price they have a profit.
Some margin for sure.
Yeah, some margin. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even for that they have a profit.
So, what do we learn from that?
So we are also doing the same. Doing the same means that we have to do that. Our price is normally it's a good price.
I thought you will say, oh, we need to market differently.
Yeah, we market differently.
So what is your marketing?
We market differently by products. Some of the products we only manufacture.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any competitors.
For instance?
In some of the flavors.
Oh, flavors.
Yes.
Well,
So
flavors are
we have
quite a lot in the world,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. We have a product called Garcinia tea.
So?
Garcinia tea. So that product we only manufacture. And we have another product is a coriander tea. That no one manufactures on that. It took us about 1 year to find this, do some research to produce this tea.
And what was your motivation in having a unique blend or unique flavor? What was your motivation? Because usually people are used to jasmine, some berries, straight black,
yes.
straight green, and probably mint, peppermint.
Yeah. So those are things. Of course, most of them are artificial flavors. So we go as all natural, 100% natural.
All right.
Yes. So this is how we do our marketing. But the price wise, sometimes we do some same way.
All natural becomes expensive, doesn't it? For
expensive.
the
Normally, basically, it's expensive, but we maintain a good price. Because our volume is good. Volume means that you
need a lot of consumers then to maintain the price for you to be profitable, right?
Yes. America is a market. You cannot market like 1 container or 2 container. You need to market annually over 200 containers. Otherwise, you cannot survive.
You mean you need big volumes?
Big volumes. Because everything is cheap in America. Even if you buy a shirt, even if you buy a bag.
But that's no fun, isn't it?
It's cheap means that's the market.
But do you have fun?
What do you mean that?
I mean, do you enjoy all of the work you do?
Yes, because that
because it sounds like you are almost fighting every day. Right, that you need to that you need to actually you need to establish, you need to put up bigger volumes, you need to always just dreading along, just another day.
Commodity business is go as a volume, if not gem and
that's
diamond.
what I mean. It sounds so competitive that you would actually lose all the satisfaction in having anything to show for, because every time you get at one volume, you probably think, oh, I need more, still more. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Other than the volume, you cannot survive in this market. Not only the US market, everywhere in the world now is same.
All right, but do you have a point where you can not necessarily conquer the market, but just maintain and you'll be good? Do you have a point where you can say, all right, at this volume, price level, we feel comfortable and we can...
Yes, that the price level and the volume at this time is very comfortable.
Oh, so it's already there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes, but the start was very tough, as I told you. To get into the market, it was the problem. How do you get into the market? How do you sell your product? So that is why we had to develop a different type of tea, and went with
Wait,
the new.
Are you saying that the different type of tea allowed you to be comfortable?
Yeah, because different type of tea to get into the market, to go to the supermarket, to shelves.
All right.
Right. Once is accepted, because they don't have those type of tea.
All right.
Then our regulatory is also going with that.
So it means you needed to provide a new flavor to get you into the hands of consumers.
That is how we went into the market.
Yeah.
Somebody can
So
apply
is the unique flavor also the biggest seller?
No. The regular tea is the biggest seller.
So it's just that people know your brand and then buy the regular ones.
Yes.
Huh. Look at that.
But the problem was how we enter into the market.
And you did it with a unique flavor.
Yes, we went
Wow.
enter into the market using a different product, and now we sell our regular products more than the unique product.
So was it the most convenient one for strategy wise, or would you be able to do it in alternative
if we didn't
ways?
apply that, I don't think that we can enter into the market. Just any supermarket, they don't want to buy it. Why do you want it? There are teas in his shelves, right? Their shelves, no space, no room for them, for the new product.
Yeah.
So what do you want? For what reason?
Some small markets.
For what? Those teas are moving.
Well, I mean,
They get their commission, they get their percentage, supermarkets. So why do you get another product for the shelves?
yeah, I see what you mean.
So there should be a reason.
Your strategy was to get into the regular tea business by allowing people to choose a unique flavor.
Yes.
Which afterwards they didn't even choose. They just took the regular ones.
No,
but
we still we are in the market because of our other products.
Do I
It
understand
doesn't
correctly
mean that
it's
we
just-
sell more.
Yeah,
Our
I see what you
volume, more volume, more percentage sells the regular tea. But to be in the market, we need that one.
All right, so you are now in the market. You are feeling somewhat comfortable in the market. What's next?
To promote other states,
Oh, so
other countries, if it's possible. If possible, Latvia. Yes, of course.
well, wouldn't you be able to already tell whether or not, let's say, Latvia is a potential market? Because we have only 2 million.
Every market is potential.
Well, we have only 2 million people here.
Yeah, every market is a market. It's a perspective.
So how do you decide what would be a better prospect and not? How do you compare it between countries?
Country that if we can sell tea in Chinese market, that is the best market in the world, because they are the one
For profit?
Yes.
Really?
Chinese people, they drink at least 5-6 cup of teas for one person. What is the population in China?
I don't know, 1.5 million?
That's the largest population. So then the second is India. The problem is they have their own plantations and own tea. And they have excess too. The balance 20% they export. So that other persons cannot go and sell their products inside China. The reason is their products is much cheaper than our ones.
All right, but wouldn't that mean that you just need to address those countries who don't produce tea themselves?
No, we sell it. We sell to China also. It's not a volume.
Mm-hmm.
There are buyers who buy. They like there's a market for Ceylon tea,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's not that much. It's a small market, small percentage.
What's the difference between Ceylon tea and let's say just when I see black tea?
Every product has a different, the unique name. Ceylon tea means that it's
The region?
the way the region, especially the region.
If you would have asked me, I would say every black tea package has Ceylon on it. I would have just guessed that every black tea
No. Most
has
tea,
Ceylon on it.
Yes, Ceylon tea.
Because I think even the bags are called Ceylon bags sometimes.
If it is Ceylon tea, they definitely mention it's Ceylon tea.
Mm-hmm.
If not, no. Then they will not say this is tea from Kenya, tea from China, tea from Japan or the Korea, Japan, Kenya, India. They will say. But if it's Ceylon, yes, it's a unique system that how they maintain their quality.
All right.
Yeah. So that quality they maintain, and with that quality is a symbol of logo.
Mm-hmm.
With that, the market, you can sell your products if it is Ceylon tea under Ceylon tea label, Ceylon tea brand, not the brand. You can put your private label.
Well, but how would it be if you have a private label that actually allows you to address the specific region or the specific consumers in the region? For instance, if you would be able to sell to Latvian consumers through Latvian stores, but the packaging would be so that it seems that it's actually almost Latvian in a way that, for instance, you supply the tea, you basically do everything with the tea, but the rest of the packaging is done in Latvia, and it's sold as almost a Latvian product, so people are more inclined to buy local, even though the tea is from the same region as Pickwick and Lipton and everybody else. Does that strategy work? Because I would imagine, because I know a lot of people would actually be interested in just buying the product simply because it has the perception of being local, even though everybody knows that it cannot be local to a big extent. For instance, people like to buy local chocolate, right? But of course, the beans are not raised and grown in Latvia. Right? It's just that it's being packaged and produced in a sense that you make those bricks and stuff in Latvia.
Yeah, even United States, they are doing packaging. Even United States, there are tea packaging companies. They all import the bulk tea and pack in US and distribute to their retailers. So likewise in England, they are doing there. Everyone is doing there that because England, they don't have a tea. And
I don't know of any brands that are local in a way that look, we are specifically addressing the people who want to buy local products. I know that we have, let's say in Latvia, we have several growers who just grow, for instance, in their I don't know, farms. Let's say peppermints, they grow different herbs, and then they just process them and make small handcrafted almost teas for different herbs and different things, right? And so they are being sold as local teas, but then they just package them as, oh, this tea is for your manliness, this one is for whatever. So it's a shtick in a way.
Yes,
it's just a marketing angle.
But I know that this is local products. Those are when you take it as a commercial way in the big volumes. Sometimes it's not practical because that if you want to do packaging here, you have to have a good market. About 5-10 containers per month to sell. Otherwise, it's not worth to having a packing. No, if someone wants to do as a local business, here, they can do it. They can bring like 500,000 kilos and do a small way, but it's not as a business. He cannot survive on that with this market.
Because the margins are too low.
Margins low, and the local business always, if you go to the volume, otherwise you cannot go export to, because if you target on the Latvia, I don't think you can come up with this business. You have to target the entire European Union. Then what you have to do is this is it's a Latvia product. That's right, product of Latvia, and it will goes to the every market. If you sell it here only, then you fail.
Well, what I meant was actually, is there a way that the packaging can actually persuade the consumer not to buy the big brands but your brand, even though it is essentially supplied by a big producer, global producer? But that's what I mean by just the marketing angle, right? Because many times people are shallow. People just choose the illusion of something. They almost willingly just participate in some card game. And if you have a certain kind of packaging, does that work for tea? If you have a certain kind of packaging that says, oh, yeah, I fulfill not just your want for tea, I fulfill your inner desires about being, whatever the case may be, being patriotic, being very nice, being charitable, whatever the case. But there has to be another angle that says, oh, look, this is the big brand tea, and this is your tea. And your tea speaks to me more and more persuasive than the big brand tea. Because the big brand tea is just a big brand. I have seen their commercials. I have some memories perhaps about their tea, but I just know that's it's just a regular tea. Well, but your tea, your packaging says something or lets me say, oh, if they for instance have the same price on the shelf, I will choose that one, the original, seemingly original tea.
Yes, but
because I understand you mean that the tea most of the time would be cheaper than the big brand, right? As far as I understand.
No. If you do that tragedy, I mean the system, you will fail. You can't be in the market.
Because the big brand but the big brands are definitely not the cheapest.
Not the cheapest, right? You cannot give that because all these big brands also, they maintain very good price.
Yeah.
It's not like the clothings. This is a consumer products. The clothings, the brand names.
Wait a second, but they do have a margin, increased margin because of their brand, right?
Yeah. So
the quality could be the same as for the cheaper one, but it's just the brand that sells the biggest price.
They get an advantage because they minimize their prices. The reason is they make profit by volumes.
All right.
So they get down their prices much less, so that the person who want to enter into the market, it's very competitive price, because already is a good price in the market.
But the big brands are not the cheapest one. So how do the cheapest ones do it?
So we are not cheapest one.
No, but what I mean is, how do the cheapest ones do it? Because the brand products are always a little bit more expensive than the cheapest teas, and not just because they have more expensive, but because they have the brand.
Yes, they have a brand. I know that there are people that brand oriented, and they go whatever the tea they buy this particular brand. There are people, and there are people they want to try a different brand also. So those market are with us, right? And also there are people that they want to find. It's a taste, and the way its presentation, the graphic, everything will hit their mind. So that we have applied all these things for our brands, but it is not the cheapest brand.
All right, but it's also not the most expensive one.
It's not the most expensive too. We maintain a good price because even the packing, our packing is much better than the branded packing because we.
What do you mean by better?
Better means that you know that the cardboard, right? It's a thickness. If you get a thickness, our one is good one.
Oh, but nobody really cares about the thickness.
No, it's you have to because you know that it is. If you are really tea drinker, if you keep because normally box of tea you can keep 3 years.
All right.
To maintain the freshness, aroma, you have to have a good packing. Packing is more important.
It's most of the time just wrapped in cellophane still.
It's not because that is why it's cheap packing. Those things they maintain, they bring down the price, they do a lot of things. Even the packing, if you change a small thing on a packing, you can bring down 50 cents sometimes. So that we cannot do that because we need to maintain because we are all natural products. We explain to our customers. We can bring down our prices. Only thing is we need to change the packing. It's not good because these are all natural products, not artificial products. Artificial products, it doesn't matter that they don't care about that. The person who buy a natural product, they need to good aroma, good taste even after 2 years. When they open the pack, it has to be fresh.
But who is a regular drinker and just has tea sitting around for 2 years? You would need to do some studies on that.
Yes, but I don't think that our tea lasts for because the people drink tea.
That's what I mean.
Yes,
that's what I mean. So why would you be concerned about sitting in 2 years?
But when you maintain an expiry date, you have to maintain the quality also. Why do you put the expiry date until the last day? That is why to maintain quality is that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make an expiry day, this is in 2 years, this will expire.
So what would happen if you would reduce it to 1.5 years, the expiry date? Would it change the perception of your brand?
No, it's not. We know that. Why do you reduce to up to 3 to 1.5 years? Because we know our tea can be last for 3 years.
Because of the packaging. If you would reduce,
no, it's not a good idea.
No. What I mean is, if you would
reduce
the cost on the packaging and by that also reduce the shelf life, would it really impact your consumers?
Yes, we do it for the regular tea. Regular black tea. We don't.
You reduce the price, you mean?
No. We don't keep that top packaging.
All right.
That the exclusive products, Teesta exclusive products, we maintain that good packing.
Yeah.
Yes, because those items mostly goes as a gift pack. I know that there are people when they go to see their mom or dad or that they buy as America is not a country that they don't buy one pack. Every time they buy 2-3 packs at a time.
Is the model of selling through big stores even relevant in the near future? I mean, of course, I know that many people in urban areas will still go to shops that are the biggest, just because you have the opportunity to find many things at one place.
Yeah.
But sort of the internet allows you to actually target your audience in different channels in different ways, doesn't it? For instance, do you have any considerations of targeting your consumers also on social media?
Yes, we do.
So
we do. And the supermarkets like the wholesale clubs, I think in Latvia you have them, right?
Probably.
Right.
We have some cash and carry, and I think they reduce their price through volume, but we don't have anything similar to Sam's Club or anything. But maybe we have some small form type of similarities.
Right. So the shoppers the business like Sam Clubs, Costco, and BJ's, it's different. Different means that the one pack is almost 100 packs into 2.
You know what I wanted to ask you? Do you sell also through Amazon?
Yes. Amazon, eBay, we sell everywhere.
How come eBay is still relevant even?
eBay
seems so outdated nowadays. I mean,
but for us,
it used to be the case that eBay, the big commercial platform for global commerce.
Yes.
Nowadays it seems
at the time of start, right?
Amazon would just knock them off.
Yeah, but that now that Amazon is a good store, not for the consumer products at this moment. They sell a lot, the electronics and all other things. But maybe in future.
No, that's what I mean.
Maybe in future.
Because what would you describe your position in general, or your main tasks are related to marketing or something else?
So my target is, my job is actually promote this business, whole operations.
So it is marketing.
Yeah,
it's in a broader sense marketing.
So we use Amazon, we use eBay, and right now we have more sales than the Amazon in eBay. eBay, but maybe in future, because they have started the Prime, Amazon groceries, right? Now they started to sell the meat products too. Next day, the products in front of your door.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. So that this will change the entire buying habit.
I don't really get it. Why it would be so unbelievable? Simply because, for instance, today in the morning, I just went to. We have 2 big grocery stores, right? And one of them has their internet platform. So in the morning, I went on that one, just typed whatever I wanted, paid it, and at a little bit past 5, I received it.
You received it?
Yeah. I didn't go to the grocery store today, but I shopped.
You shopped it?
I shopped for groceries today.
So this is somewhat what I told is meat products, that you cannot keep them without a refrigerator.
Yeah, but that's what I meant as well. I mean, if I because I chose, for instance, several things that I need to put in the fridge. So it got delivered to me, and I put it in the fridge once I received them. And I actually I bought as well meat as well.
Yeah. So
I'm not.
This is completely changed.
And we have that. We have this type of delivery at least for 4 years now. At least 4 or 5 years now. But it's not for the whole country. It's for Riga. It's for Jurmala.
Yeah.
It's for specific.
Yeah, regions. Riga is a capital that you have that type of facility and the delivery persons available, but not every. But I got to know is that the Amazon is going to start in Australia. They are setting up a huge warehouses in different areas.
Yeah, why
so
not?
it's going to be a huge change.
Well, Amazon is big in every English-speaking country. Yeah. America, probably Canada as well. Yeah. England is they're Australia.
Doing good. England is top, I think.
Amazon, it's just that they need to figure out how to actually cater to, let's say, Eastern European markets, Asian markets, because at one point in time, the digital economy will just smash everything we know.
Yeah. I got to know this. The eBay they are doing in India very good.
Well, probably. I mean, India does everything good. Yeah. India is just eBay. But everything in India works. I think everything that's related to digital, everything works in India.
Yeah, I don't know. Amazon is in India now. I don't think
there should be. There should be. I mean, at least in some Bangalore or Delhi or
some
somewhere.
areas. Yeah,
Should be.
yeah. So this is different world now compared to 20 years before.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Because I honestly want to figure out how to attract foreign capital to Latvia by just establishing automated systems. Because I don't think anybody needs to do anything nowadays. They just need to transfer the money to the best, to the profitable regions in the world. And if you have the communication, you don't have to do any work related. Because in the 90s, for instance, I know many people came to Eastern Europe simply because it was after the Soviet Union collapsed. It was a new market, so everybody could try to at least establish some new markets, right? But nowadays, it's not really needed. We do have basically all the things everybody else has, but what we don't have is the what's it called, the cost of living as high as in the old countries. We still don't have that, right? But the productivity is there. It won't be that long. It will probably be 5 to 10 years.
5 to 10 years, next 5 to 10 years.
And we catch up with all the nonsense. Because I'm not sure whether or not there will be much progress for other things, but definitely for costs of living. Definitely for costs of living. The inflation will probably be fairly high. Right? So yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, well, how do Americans view investment or essentially all retiring investment strategies? Because if I would be in America, I would probably literally just divide my income in halves, and the one half just goes straight to Eastern European investment, and that's it. I would imagine I would do that because in 10 years, 15 years time, everybody will speak English there. Everybody will have developed infrastructure there. The internet is already better than in America. Communication is better than or IT in general is better than in the old countries, that's for sure. It's just that the social aspect needs to catch up, because we are still sometimes in old-fashioned mindsets. But after that goes away, it's off to the races. So that's what I'm wondering about most of the time.
What I notice is that not only the Eastern Europe, that all world, the young generation, they are very smart. When you talk about, even here I had a experience today. I wanted to find a street and just ask from he's about 50 years old, just asked. He said no, he didn't talk. Then there was a young guy that I just asked. He's very good, very fluent. He told me where to go, what to do. So that's the difference, that it's new generations. It's they know that they know what to do, and they are very educated. And I believe that the next world, I mean the next market, will be in Eastern Europe for any products.
Well, probably Asia and Eastern Europe, right?
Yeah. What is Eastern Europe entire population?
Russia, Ukraine is also a big market.
Russia, of course, Russia, that we sell a lot of tea to Russia in Sri Lanka. One of the big buyer, Russia.
What about Turkey?
Turkey, yes, of course. Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Russia. Those are the tea drinking countries. They do a lot. And I think the Baltic countries also, you drink a lot of tea. Maybe
Depends on what you compare. What is the comparison between which countries? Because I think we are comparatively European when it comes to tea drinking. Because coffee is definitely for the professional workers. Other than that, of course, we have tea. But then again, It's just regular business infrastructure. We have those big name brands, and then maybe some local ones, and that's it. You don't have so much variety when it comes to the general tea market, and that's what I mean by actually target. If you are able to target specifically other interests than tea by selling tea, I guess that's the one marketing angle that needs to be tapped. Simply because I literally think if you see the package and if you have a story behind the package, yeah, people will buy anything.
It may help. It may help
tea,
with graphics
I
and
would
the
guess
presentation.
Even for tea, I would guess.
Yeah,
Simply because
graphic and the presentation will attract a buyer to buy this product. But not only that, because and also that when you talk about the tea, it is not a product that you buy today and next day you go and buy a different brand. So you cannot do that. You cannot survive in this business. You have to have a repeating buyers. Right? It's not like you sell a watch or the wristwatch or whatever it is. This is a different. You have to have a repeating buyers. So the repeating buyers is total difference. So that that particular things, the presentation, graphic, everything is there, and also the quality and the taste and all the things should be there. Then only he come and buy again. Otherwise he will not. Only one tea, you get only 10 cents, 15 cents profit. What happens? The next pack.
Yeah, it's a shame that it's so low profit margin.
Yeah, it's very low, and you need to have a repeating buyers. So to get the repeating buyers, we don't need the new buyers. At least we need to maintain, because very, very difficult to get some buyers, organize some kind of people who like our tea, right? So that we need to give them a best quality tea to repeat same tea.
If you would be, let's say, 15 years old now, and you would know everything you know now, would you go into the tea business, or would you try to find other businesses to go into?
I don't think.
You mean what do you think?
If I am 15 years old, no, I will not.
What would you look at?
There are a lot of other things to do.
Yeah, what would those be?
It cannot be. Sometimes it maybe depends. Sometimes I may be in the same business. The reason is why I was here, that this is kind of a family business, and we were with the business. So we had that business. And I migrated to here, and I don't have much work to do. I only have to find a market, which is very difficult, but that is what I have to do. But someone else, it is different.
Well, what do you mean? You mean after you find the market, you just live off the dividends? No.
No. Now that
you still work, right?
It's work. And if you stop working, you have to close business.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. If you would be now 15, what would you choose to go into business? What sector? What type of business would you choose? Knowing what you know now about all the 50 countries you have visited, knowing everything you know now, what type of business would you choose to go into?
That I cannot tell you. Maybe it may be a different area.
Well, that's what I mean. What area would it be?
I have no idea. I cannot say that. Yeah. But if I am 15, maybe less chances I'm in this business. Very less chances.
All right. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But then again, you wouldn't really already know what type of other business you would be interested in.
Yeah. Maybe
you go into consulting.
Sometimes, yeah. Maybe.
Because wouldn't you be able to actually consult big tea businesses in the world about sourcing, about distributing?
I didn't think about that. 100% I kept my all effort for this business.
Hmm.
I didn't think about that, and but I have helped to other people. That there are friends of mine that who was from Sri Lanka, and they also wanted to import,
Yeah.
and I helped them. I told them this is what you have to do. This is how I started,
Hmm.
because he's not a competitor for me, because he's in a different state. I have not gone in California.
Yeah.
The friend asked me to promote in California. I gave him two options. You can do your own brand.
Is it possible for you to make a weed tea?
Some of the states in USA is legal now. The Washington states and I think it's.
But is it possible that you have some tea with mixed with
it's very possible.
with psychoactive substances?
Very possible.
Oh, really?
Yeah, very possible. And we have tried also that we have made a blend too, because one of the we were in an exhibition stall. One of the lady came from Washington.
Yeah.
And she wanted to buy the wheat tea.
All right.
But we cannot export from Sri Lanka to here. It's federally it's illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the states, yes, you can. Within the states, you can have plantations small and do whatever you want it. But you cannot do like import-export way. So that we are not in a position to do that. But we said we will give you the blend, we will give you the bulk tea.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you have to do it. You do your packing here. But it didn't come out. So once it's go to the packing, it's a cost matter.
Well, but for those products, it's not really a cost matter, is it? Because those are not commodity products anymore. Those are just specifically.
No, if she want to do as a tea.
Oh, with competing with regular tea? Well,
Yeah.
that's nonsense.
Yeah.
That's
If
nonsense.
she do as a normal way selling
just
like
just in a what's it called? Those what are those shops called? Those pharmacies? Or,
Colorado, yes.
yeah,
Colorado,
those type of shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway.
Yes. So I think we have a good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good. I would say so. Yeah. Do you have anything to let's say about Latvia, for Latvia in conclusion? Because you are a sort of international man. You've seen lots of countries. You've seen lots of people.
Yes.
You have seen lots of businesses. So
I have
you might as well share your wisdom with me and my country.
Yeah, of course, I love this country and love to be here with you today. And I have some plans also, that because yesterday I went for dinner, Japanese restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
I met one of the Indian, and he's working part-time. He's studying
in the Japanese restaurant.
Yeah,
Funny.
that is what that I was wondering that how comes, right? So that he's studying here. They call Riga
Technical University, probably.
Technical University. So that I have, because that I know there are a lot of people in Sri Lanka. They want to come for the further studies to USA, which they cannot afford. It's about 30 to 40,000 US dollars per year.
Wow.
Yes. So
yeah, it's 10 times less. Yeah.
This is a good information. I got it, and I think I can do it very well. I can help other people, and also it's good for the country Latvia too. It's good for them. It's a win-win situation. They want to learn, go outside, learn more, different cultures.
A Vietnamese friend of mine actually provides residence permit services in a way that let's say if somebody from Vietnam would like to study, she would help them. But if somebody would like to just live in Europe, then that's their client.
Yeah, so that I have those interested persons girls and boys, so that I'm going to pass this information for them. So that is one thing I get from the Latvia.
Well, yes, the quality of education. Well, look, simply because we have the nice IT technology, nice IT infrastructure here. That's why Estonia and Latvia and probably also Lithuania are valuable countries for foreigners, for sure. Yeah.
And the good thing is that I asked from him, in which language you are studying. He said English.
Yeah.
So very easy. Some countries that there are people that they goes to China and some they goes to Russia. They have to learn that language first to complete their degree. So it's very difficult.
The funny thing is that, in Latvia, it's almost sort of unique simply because in Latvia you find in universities people who come not just from people from countries like Sri Lanka or India or whatever, but they also come from Western Europe. Simply because, let's say a German, if he would like to get the education in Germany, he would have either terrible time making the exams or whatever the reason, but they decide, we will just get the education in Latvia simply because the studies are in English. So the education is in EU applicable. So they get their degree in Latvia and then they go off. Yeah. So and at that point when they study, it's really the case that people from Asia, people from Western Europe come together in Latvia as a melting pot. So
you will have that. I you know that the education is a business in this world.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a good thing for the Latvia. You can market.
Should be, but I would be interested in actually milking it more than it is being done. Simply because now it's sort of a one-way business in the sense that the universities just provide information about themselves, and then the Latvian specific agencies they don't really market it, but they sort of are the contact points for that. If somebody would like to live for studies, then they are the first ones who say, well, these universities provide these types of study programs in English. So that would be the first. But I think if somebody comes to Latvia for studying, it will be probably 3-4 years at least. Yeah, you can milk that process pretty good if you know what to do.
Most of our students are going to Australia.
Australia is also not cheap.
Not cheap.
Yeah.
But it's cheaper than England and USA, Canada.
All right.
Some day goes to Canada. Some day goes to. There are people.
Why wouldn't people go to Finland? I've heard of people going to Finland.
I don't know about that. Is cheap the education or expensive?
Higher education is free for everybody who gets there. Even
for outsiders?
Yeah, I've had guests who tell me that I come from I don't know what Asian country. I go to Finland to study. Simply because if you get into Finland as a student, it's free.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Finland is the closest to a utopia that Europe has. Europe has probably two nice, really socially nice countries. That would be probably Finland and, perhaps Sweden as well. But I would say Switzerland. But Switzerland is not in the EU, so Finland takes the cake.
So I'm visiting Finland too this time, from here to Estonia. Then I take the ferry to the Helsinki.
Are you going to Estonia next?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Estonia is nice. And Finland as well.
From Finland, then again go to the Hungary, and then what is the next to Hungary?
I don't know. Maybe Romania.
No.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I cannot remember.
Yeah, the different countries.
Different country.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
It's all right. So, very nice.
Till next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And hope you will do editing.